Well, hello there, friends. So thank you for being here at the place where you belong. So here we go. We're working on something else today. This is going to be a rear seat for it happens to be from a Toyota Prius. And, most back seats in cars these days are pretty much all about the same thing. So you can say that this is just about any other seat cover from any other car. So it doesn't have to be specific to this car. So the process is pretty much all the same. So here you can see the brittleness. It is brittleness. Those cracks right there. So that's what happens. And I can also see that the thread let go of the stitch. So sometimes people will come up to me and they'll say, well, can you fix this here? Can you just stitch it back together? And my answer to this one here would be no, because it's already too far gone. That's for sure. You can see it has shrunk and it is shredded and it's cracking. So not only that, but even if I did take the time and they spent the money to have that fixed, over here somewhere or maybe over here somewhere in the near future, it could start failing also. So what the customer decided to do was to go ahead and make an all new seat cover. So that's what we're going to do for him. So here we go. So those of you that watch me every week know right away, first thing I do is I grab my white China marker. And what we're going to do is we are going to mark all the intersections right here. Everywhere there is an intersection. The reason we do that is that tells us where everything goes back together when we're putting all the pieces back together. So we'll just go around the whole thing, mark everywhere. There's that intersection. Next, we're going to take Lucille the box cutter. So you can see here how I take my grinder and I make that serrated edge. That's what's going to pop our threads for us right there without damaging the vinyl. Now this might seem like repetition to some of you if you follow me here on my channel, but you know what? Isn't that the way Mozart became great? Because he practiced on the piano. So you know what? The more you do this, the easier it gets. So look at that. See, it's just melting right through that thread right there. Ain't that awesome? That's what I'm talking about.
Five minutes later. Five minutes later.
So the reason I do this while the seat cover is still on the seat is because the seat itself here is my third hand. So it's helping me hold everything together. I can actually pull on the material and that helps me to pull the seams apart here for the threads. So if I had taken the seat cover off first and it's loose and I'm trying to do this, I don't have that third hand. So I'm kind of like messing with it. If you've ever messed with material trying to take something apart, you know what I'm talking about. So that's why I do it while it's still on the seat, because it's so much easier. So one thing I did notice early on was that these pockets right here for seat belts, they're not symmetrical. Look at that. This one's a lot taller than this one. So I usually flip the patterns when I'm making them. I make a left and a right, but look at that, these are different. So I'm going to have to pattern this whole area here differently. So right now would be a great time to hit that like button. So please like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we're just going to remove the hog rings. The nice thing about cutting it away like this also is that now you have access to your hog rings.
Five minutes later.
So how many of you know about technique number 92? So what that is when you go to take off the hog ring and you grab it with your, these are dikes, or they call them side cutters, or they're called other things depending on what part of the country you're in. If you take the hog ring like that and you twist it clockwise, just like that, that's how they come apart. Some people, they just really wrestle with them, because if you don't do it that way, that's what happens.
5 minutes later. Five minutes later.
Now what you're going to want to do is take all your hog rings like this. Don't throw them on the floor, okay? Because you're going to step on them and they're going to track them everywhere. Put them in the trash. So this is an important one. Okay, this is technique number 68. So what that is as you can see, even though I took this all apart, I left everything connected. You see that? Look at that. You know what that means? Tell me in comments if you think you know what that means. That means that, I'll give you the answer anyway. That means that there's no guessing. You don't have 17 pieces of a piece of jigsaw puzzle that you have to put back together again, trying to remember what went where, or even the order of installation, the way it was sewed together. So right now, because everything is loose like this, we're still going to be able to make our pattern. Not only that, but we can refer back to this to see how it was sewn together and the pieces and everything. Look at that. See, I just saved you guys a bunch of time and heartache and pain. Now this is what the customer chose for a color right here. On the truffle is what it's called. So It's actually a better match than the Toyota vinyls that I found. So this is what we're looking at right there. So you can see here where all these panels are all padded with scrim. It looks like 1/4 inch scrim. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing out the pattern here. So we always start with the largest piece first because you get all your largest pieces out of the way. That way you can fill in what you have left in fabric or materials with all the smaller pieces in between all the big pieces. Okay, a lot of guys, what they'll say is that vinyl direction is very important. But you know what? I don't think so. Okay, this is going to be another controversy. You can put in comments what you think. Do you think that vinyl direction, the stretch of the vinyl, is that important when you're drawing out your patterns? Because I figure this is what I figure. I figure that the pattern is made for the contour of the seat. So that's what's going to give the seat the shape, is the pattern, not the stretch of the vinyl. So, being said that, when I go to draw out my patterns, I don't care if it's this way, or if it's this way, or if it's this way on the vinyl. It doesn't really matter to me. Because in the end, it's all going to look the same. So, let's go ahead and just start drawing this one out. Put in my marks. Just like that. And wherever there's a mark, gotta draw that in. Okay, I guess we got that one done, huh? Look at that. So what I do when I'm done drawing the panel, I'll put a big X on there, so that way I don't make a double. That way I know I already did that one. Okay, so now that I have that made, because we're going to be putting scrim on the back of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about 1/4 inch on the outside. 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, 3/8 inch, doesn't matter, it's not rocket science, right? So I'm going to leave a little bit of a, let's call it a flashing, I guess. Now we'll move on to the next biggest piece. You see what I'm doing here? I'm maximizing my vinyls, that way I have less waste. So I can see that the vinyl has that shape in it. So you know what, I'm going to just try to get as close as I can to that. Draw it out. Draw a mark. Put my X. Then what I usually do for straight lines is I'll just take my straight edge like this, finish it off. And we're going to do that for the rest of the patterns.
A few moments later.
So these end cap pieces in the rear, in the back, they're not padded. So that means that I can just go ahead, cut right on the line. So now I'm going to take my fabric backed foam, or scrim they call it. This is 1/4 inch. This is what we're going to be using for the backs of our panels here. Just like that. In one of my other videos, I didn't glue this material to the foam, and I just sewed on there. I skipped the glue part, and I think that confused a lot of people because they're saying, well, shouldn't I be gluing these? And I was just basically telling them in comments that I'm not, there's no right way, there's no wrong way of doing it. You know, I was just showing another way of doing it. So you can do it either with or without glue. So just for continuity, I'm going to go ahead and use glue for this project. So now we're going to start sewing all these up. Let's go ahead and get going on this here. I usually set my machine to about a number 7. We'll just sew right on the white line. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut right next to that thread without actually cutting it. I'll do this all the way around. Just like that. We're going to go ahead and do that to all the pieces now. So now this is what I'm talking about, because you can put your patterns back together because everything's connected, right? Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I just put the puzzle back together really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sewing these pieces back together again. Looks like it goes like that. All right. So I usually start here in the middle and work my way out to the sides. So I'm going to get my parts right here. And I'm going to visualize where everything goes like that. So I'm going to start here in the middle, start sewing everything up and work my way out to the ends. So now we're going to continue to work our way out because we've already got this piece, right? What's next? Okay, I'd say it's these pieces right here and these pieces right here. Okay, let's go ahead and get these listings sewn on. And now's a good time to do it because there's nothing in the way. and this one with this one. So what we'll do is we'll start in the center right here. And that's where we're going to start sewing, and then we're going to work our way out. Next, we'll sew on these listings right here. So do me a favor and put in comments how you feel about this longer form video where I'm not fast forwarding 600 times or 1,000 times like I usually do. The reason I did that is because I didn't want to bore anybody with the long, tedious process. But I've been getting some comments where people are asking for me not to fast forward. So I thought I'd give it a try in this video. So let me know what you think. So next are these two end pieces right here. So that's that one. This is this one. Okay, let's go ahead and put these two together. So now this one here gets the double top stitch. I mean the freedom stitch. Let's go ahead and do that. Put on my number 7. Okay, the ends go on there just like that. Now we'll go ahead and put this together. So there's my mark. Put it right here on for the intersection. We'll start there first. Oh, look at that. I ran out of bobbin. Okay, let's go ahead and put a new bobbin in. You know, it does happen sometimes, doesn't it? Right in front, right in the middle of a stitch. So this is what it's like. You have to change a bobbin. Okay, let's go ahead and finish that off. There are 2 more listings that need to be put on, so we'll get those on. Okay, we're getting really close now. So now we just got to do these rear skirt pieces. There's 1, 2, 3. One goes here, one in the middle, and one on the end. Let's put those on. Okay, I want to see the marks here. You also want to make sure that you put them on the back side too, like that. That way you can see them. Go ahead and mark these. Now when I flip it, I can see the marks. Put it back on number 5 for the stitch length. Putting the marks on the back here, so I can see those. Okay, I don't know what I would call this. Is this the front skirt or is this the skirt for the front listing? I guess that's what it is. Skirt for the front listing. Now let's go ahead and put on these edge listings on. I go towards the front here. Okay, we got a few more here to go. didn't pull the thread out long enough. Okay. That's what happens when you don't pull out the thread long enough. That's why when I'm done sewing, I usually try to pull it way out. Before I cut the thread. Okay, let's try it again. See, this is real world stuff here. I'm not editing it out to make it look polished or perfect. Because real life is not polished and perfect. Well, I do believe we have a new cover. Look at that. I just got to install it. Now it's time for hog rings and hog ring pliers. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, now we'll finish up the bottom. I usually do these back corners here first. I pull them back and in. See, usually a good place to start. Then I go to the middle. Missed. Sometimes we miss. These wires are really hard to get to right there. Now we get to inspect our work. Make any adjustments. So we'll try to make it look better than it is by using the heat gun here. We'll warm up the vinyl. What that does is it takes away wrinkles and smooths everything out.
A few moments later.
Now to clean off the white China marker. Oh, what am I using? This is what I'm using right here. Mineral spirits. Mineral spirits. We'll take it off. We won't do anything to the bottom. Yep. Yep. So do us both a favor and binge watch my videos. And like I was saying, if you like this video, you'll really like the next one.